Hello and welcome to Zaza Zooms In. In this episode, I have a conversation with my childhood friend Kemi, and we spoke about, I'm not even sure what to put it under. It could come under communication, it could come under attraction, it could come under a number of things. Basically, we spoke about whether or not it was okay to tell your spouse if you're no longer attracted to him or her. So we had a long conversation about that, and this is what we had to say. Kemi,
Yeah.
welcome to Zaza Zooms In.
Thank you, Timothy.
Thank you for agreeing to have this conversation with me. Today we are going to talk about.
She bribed me with breakfast.
I did. What we're going to talk about does. I can't remember what the question was.
Is it bad to admit?
Yes. Is it okay to admit that you are no longer attracted to your spouse? So this question came from a friend of mine who realized that she no longer found her husband attractive, and for her she couldn't continue like that. They actually ended up in divorce, but I thought it was an interesting thing because she was being true to herself in the sense that I can't lie that this guy is no longer attractive. What's your take on this? What do you think?
So if you ask me, I don't know if not being attracted to someone, is it physically or not having emotional connection with the person is the case here. If it's a physical attraction thing, I don't know if it's a reason to get a divorce. However, that is her own story, because for me, first of all, the first thing is that good thing was that she admitted to herself that was an issue.
Yeah.
But then did she admit it to her spouse? Did they have this conversation?
Okay, I actually don't know too much detail. I think she did.
Yeah.
But again, I think it was a physical thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure she gave it enough of a chance. I know that for both of us, we would probably
Give it
be
a
like,
chance.
you know what I mean? Okay, yeah, the physical thing, how can we get past that? But I thought it was very interesting because, like you said, a lot of people would just either ignore it and be unhappy.
Yes, exactly.
Or, you know what I mean? So I think it is okay, like you said, admit to yourself first.
Yes.
And then what?
Admit it to the person. I know there's something that you can remedy. So, for example, if I married some kind of tall, lanky guy and it became Baba Salah.
For the purposes of those who don't come from where you come from, what is Baba Salah?
Like a Michelin guy. If it became that, those are things. Okay, maybe we can go to the gym together. And another thing is just even to admit to myself actually that first of all, the thing that attracted me towards the person was just the looks, which in this day and age is a bit vain.
Yeah.
But yes, I've admitted to that. And can we go back to that, or can we come back to where he was before, come to a middle ground? So, for example, the person being overweight is actually, apart from the physical attraction, is the health wise for him. Exactly. So you can come to that and then maybe do it together. Talk about it and do it together, and then find other things, especially if you had other things in common that attracted you together. Try and put more attention to that. I find, let me not say I find, because I this is probably just based on what you hear, is that people who say they're no longer attracted to their spouses, maybe they've now found an attraction to someone else. You never know. It might be somebody else that has now created, that thing that person has, my husband doesn't have it anymore. Things like that. So I will think about it when it comes to, especially if it's a physical, falling out of attraction physically because of something. Then we can address those issues, and then also maybe focus more on the things that also attracted you to that person in the first place.
But then you see, I think you make a key fact. You say, because you have to admit it to the person, but you have to be careful how you admit it to the person, and especially if it's a man. I'm sorry, but guys and their egos, you kind of have to be kind about how you say it. But then if, for example, I'm playing devil's advocate here, the person who has put on the weight is like, well, I like myself like this. This is how I want to be. It's my body. Then how do you deal with that? Because do you understand what I mean? Because it's very important. I believe it's very important that you're attracted to your spouse.
Yeah.
Physically as well as everything else. So if you're actually not attracted to your spouse and your spouse is not prepared to do anything about that, is that deadlock?
Yeah. So no, I won't say yes, but it's just, I don't know how, actually, you know what? I will admit I don't know what this person should do. For me, if my spouse decided that he wasn't going to lose weight, he wasn't going to do things, maybe we could, maybe in that physical state that he is in, the clothes that he was wearing before are no longer the kind of tight things that he should wear. Maybe we can change the way he, so that it hides. No, hides. I'm sorry. You know how we do it, like you know how we women do. We don't lose clothes exactly to make it. Yes, exactly. If he could carry it, the way it carries it, not suddenly looking like, as I said, but like carry it well. Fine. But then also just to draw his or her attention to the fact that this is not good for your health.
Yeah.
Maybe if you focus more on the health part of it, and then try, maybe try with the foods that you guys are eating at home. But another thing I have to say is that it all boils down sometimes to communication and how honest you could have been with the person from the beginning.
Absolutely.
What get go. That is the thing, is that will I be able to tell my husband that he's getting fat? Yes. I'm serious, because it's the same way I want him to say, Kemi, you've put on weight, and it doesn't look good on you, or because really he might not know that I put on weight looking at me with my clothes, but when I get undressed, he will see it, and it's no longer the same attraction. And so it's not only men, women, most especially after having kids.
A lot of women do put on weight. It's funny. I mean, Wale has always been very good in the sense that I think he does have a preference, but he's always loved my body however it has come.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Which is fine. And I think there's a bit of a myth to that thing that men like skinny women. I think there's a bit of a myth to that. So, but I am the one that hasn't been satisfied with my body.
That's what.
So it's not really about him anymore. It's like, he's like, you're beautiful regardless. Thanks, babe. But do you know what I mean? But I'm like, but I don't feel it. Or I know I want a flat tummy. Or I want this or that. I mean, it's not the be all and end all, but sometimes it's just. But then nothing would pain me more than if he said, I don't mind him telling me I put on weight, but if he says something like, you're getting fat, so it would be a bit, like,
I think it depends on what time of the day or the mood, or exactly on those PMS days that you're not feeling so good, and the person comes and says, Mati, you're D, or sorry, like you're putting on weight, like you'll be like, you're having a malad today. Whatever is your worst food,
exactly.
That's what you're having today.
No, but I think it's really important, because I think because my weight has gone up and down, to be fair, I carry it well, I think, a lot of the time, but it has gone up and down, and I'm aware, So if I had a husband, well, like I keep saying to him, that where his children are concerned, that's not my business, that's his fault. But there's a lot of time that it has gone up and down, and there are no children involved, so I can't really blame him for that. But I think if I had a husband that was constantly on my case, I don't mind him telling me and encouraging me, but if he was constantly on my case, telling me that I was fat, it would make me a bit insecure in our relationship. Do you know what I mean? Because like, why are you telling me that I'm fat? That means you have a problem with it. But I do think that I agree with you. You should be able to tell them exactly how you say it and how often you say it, how you go around delivering the message. Exactly. That health thing is a good one. And you say you used to go running with your
husband. Yes, exactly. We used to go to the gym together, go running and all that. And then obviously so many things have happened, and we no longer do that right now due to work and all. But one thing that I realize is that I always tell my husband, actually even and my kids, to hold me accountable. However, this is why I was saying things like, it depends on the mood of the day. The time that I'm really feeling low and I really want to do the bad thing, just to
hold you accountable.
Exactly, and then it pisses me off. I'm like, okay. So
but
then
have no way of
exactly, and then this is the problem, is that then when I say hold me accountable, and then he now holds me accountable, I get upset. And then I now say, maybe when I'm upset, I'll say, okay, go and get me the very thing that I do not need. And he doesn't know if we should say, no, you cannot have it there, or just go ahead and buy it, for peace sake, And so that's another thing. It's like, especially for communication. I think one of the things I know that Veronica and I need to start doing again is going to the gym together, because then he was working offshore. So all the time when he was back home and he was off, in the morning after school drop off, we'll go to the gym together, we'll come back for the weekends, we ran together and all that. And that was really good. It's good, obviously for our health and all that, obviously also for the relationship. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's actually one thing that we do miss now that he's back to office work.
Interesting. Okay. So we reckon that you should tell your spouse.
Exactly.
It should be okay. It shouldn't be a thing that you can't do. But this thing also comes down to how, like you said, how the relationship started. And it's funny because there's a friend of mine who, thank God, they made it through. But I remember when she got married to her husband, she had kind of become the woman she thought he wanted. You know, I think sometimes women do that, where we assume certain things, and maybe they're comments that the man makes, and we think this is the type of perfect. This is perfect. So she became his perfect person. And like 10 years into the marriage, she's like, I can't flip into this. I need to be myself. And so he's like, you've changed.
Exactly.
You know, because he didn't know her any other way. And she's thinking, no, I'm just being myself. And they had a real rocky period in their marriage. But luckily they got through it, and he got to, you know, accept who she really was and love her. But I think sometimes, and I say that because I think sometimes we go into relationships and we're not honest from the get-go. So when something like this happens, we don't know how to say, well, I'm not actually attracted to you anymore because you are a bit fat, you know, or whatever, and then it now becomes an issue because then maybe that even leads to affairs or whatever. But you know what I mean? It's an interesting one.
And another thing, you know, then it's also like you know, if I can admit to my husband and say, you know what, this is what I want to be like. This is how I want to be. Yes, you know, I'm not there, but this is how I want to be. You know, then you can work together on it. You know, if I fall out of being attracted to my husband because he's not the way. If only your neck could be fat, actually.
I know. It's so funny because I have another friend who has a husband who's pretty much like your hair.
The same and it's size. Like, it's where you know, wear your wedding suit today, tomorrow, whatever, 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah, no, I mean because she said to me one day, because she was always on a diet, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? She said, because if I put on weight, I will look like his mom. He's just tall and slim all the time, and she wasn't even fat, but you know, just the fact that he just didn't move from that thing. So she was like, if I'm too fat, I will look like his mother.
You literally have to throw out clothes because he can still just continue
wearing clothes 20 years later. If only.
Yes,
if only.
Exactly.
Some people are blessed like that. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Kemi. I hope you'll come back on ZZI Zooms In.
Yes, thanks for having me. Impromptu. Breakfast was good.
Yes. All right, my love. Thank you. So, there you have it. Should you or should you not? Is it okay for you to tell your spouse that you're no longer attracted to them? We think that it is. In fact, we think that it's important that you do, because communication is key. We do also think that if you're doing so, you have to be kind in the way you do it. You have to use wisdom. You can't just, you know, you don't want to say something that's going to put them on the defensive. But physical attraction is important in relationships. So it is key that you have a conversation about this if it's something that you're experiencing. Obviously, we don't feel that physical attraction is all that matters in a relationship, but it is a key part of it. And so there's no point in ignoring it, sweeping it under the carpet and pretending that, you know, everything will be okay. It might be, but it probably won't be. So that's what we had to say about it. I don't know what you have to say about it, but do let us know. God bless you.